Welcome back to Brick by Brick. Today we're going to be doing a matchup between the Democratic candidate, in this case Josh Shapiro, versus the Republican candidate J.D. Vance. Shapiro is possibly one of the potential nominee in 2028 for the Democrats. He was considered for VP role and ended up losing to Tim Walz, but he was still close to being selected, and he seems to be a rising star in the Democratic Party. He was able to secure a solid victory in the state of Pennsylvania. He did run against a pretty extreme Republican, so that helped, but in general, he does seem to be one of the more electable candidates. We'll be going through, I have characterized all the safe, likely, and lean states. For the Democrats, we have, I will wait to classify the district in Omaha, but and then we'll go back to the district in Maine. But in general, these are the starting predictions. We have a couple of votes for the Democrats in the lean column, and just the one in there in Maine for the Republicans, but we'll be going through each of these states. So we will start out on the west and then move eastward. So in the west, in Nevada, I think that especially if the economy stays on the track it's not going well, I think it would likely result in a Democratic victory. Shapiro would probably be able to win that state. I do think Nevada is possibly a different story than Arizona. Arizona went to the Republican candidate by Trump by a pretty solid margin. Nothing crazy, but still pretty solid margin. And then we will get to these states here. So we'll go to Minnesota. In Minnesota, I do think that it will most likely remain in Democratic hands. And I do think that will probably be the case for New Hampshire as well. I might even give a lean rating for each of these. But, whoops, and then there in Maine, we need to fix that. So Maine will most likely be in the Democratic column, but for now, we will give that one electoral college vote to the Republicans. So with that, we're at 231 for the Democrat, Josh Shapiro, to 230 for the Republican, J.D. Vance. We still have yet to classify the Rust Belt as well as the eastern half of the Sun Belt. We'll start out with the eastern half of the Sun Belt. I do think that there may come a day when Democrats are able to win the state of North Carolina again. It's possible if they field a good candidate, and I think Shapiro would do well. I don't think he'd do quite well enough to secure the victory in North Carolina. And then I think the case in the Rust Belt, usually the Rust Belt votes together. I'm going to give each of those to Shapiro. I think he would most likely be able to win his home state of Pennsylvania, and generally the Rust Belt votes together, so with that, it would be, didn't mean to do that with Florida, that would be enough electoral college votes to win the presidency at 276, and I think in Georgia was pretty close in 2020 and 2024, so I do think that if the trends continue, it will most likely go to the Democratic column in 2028. Shapiro would probably be able to narrowly win the state. That Georgia is probably the state I have the hardest time calling. I do think it could certainly end up in the Republican column, but for now we're going to go with that prediction. So in the end, in a matchup between J.D. Vance and Shapiro, the Democrat Shapiro gets 292 electoral college votes to 246 for the Republican J.D. Vance. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.